This is Sadie, and you're listening to Void Signal.
You broke my back and then you took my fucking will. Cut me out of your life, but I won't die here today. I didn't think that it would come, 'cause I thought you were the one. Hide it all in the dark before I come undone.
Hope, save me from my vicious greed in times like these. Taste what it's like without to understand how it is.
Don't let go, you had to know you would eventually break down. Far away from here, there's another life that's starting. I want you to know, especially in the times of perilous loss and pain, that no one does it like you, and no one ever will again.
Hope, save me from my vicious greed in times like these. Taste what it's like to be without to understand how it is. Come to me in the night, you whisper in the shadows, tempting me by the door of my consciousness where you sleep. And I go to you so unwittingly and calm, I wonder if I should be afraid. That voice to me is so soothing, and your eyes are beckoning. Hope, save me from my vicious greed in times like these. Taste what it's like to be without to understand how it is.
Hello again. Before we get started, I just wanted to say this one more time that I have really dope merchandise over on shirtclan.com, and you can also leave me a tip over at voidsignal.net. So check it out. I mean, you have nothing to waste but your time. Thanks for your consideration, and cheers as always. Enjoy the show. Bye. No, that's perfect, actually.
All right, cool.
How's it going, man?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Just busy as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, like, this shit takes a long fucking time. Like, having to do all the, like, I mean, like, having to do all the social media bullshit yourself is so exhausting. Like, it looks, and I feel bad because every time my wife walks in, I'm like, I promise I'm not just sitting here fucking off. Because that's what it looks like. Like, oh, you're just hanging out chatting with people, and it's like, this shit takes so much time.
Yeah. No, I know the feeling, and like my studio is where I like just chill too. So sometimes, like, you know, I'm like, okay, I'm burned out on music. I'm gonna just watch some YouTube shit, and then I just am watching YouTube, and then I'm like, all right, I don't know, I lose track of time and stuff, and so.
Yeah, but I feel like that's part of the process too, is like falling down the hole of looking at YouTube shit, because it's like your inner sort of mind, your monkey brain just is kind of like, oh, I want to explore this thing, and like, often it leads me to like, oh, what a good idea, but I do have to catch myself and be like, oh, cool, I'm just wasting a shit ton of time doing
I'm honestly, for the most part, I'm such a workaholic, but I'm like bad at just like letting myself just fucking chill sometimes. So it's like, I try to force myself to just be like, it's okay, today you're just not working apparently.
I never was really a workaholic, but it was because I wasn't doing anything I loved until now. So now it's like, you know, there's a lot that goes, I mean, again, you know all about it, but fuck,
yeah.
But I mean, when you care about it, you want to work on it. So.
Yeah, I remember when I left my job as a chef, like I used to stay up late, like I wouldn't be able to fall asleep because I'd just be like stressed about that, and then I'd be like laying in bed thinking about like all the things I need to do, and I'd be like stressed out and like fuck, and then I like couldn't sleep. And when I transitioned to this, it was like the same thing, but minus the stress. I'd be like going to bed and I'd be thinking about all the things and I'd be like excited about them. And I was like, this is probably how it should be.
Same. I've really been enjoying my time with Samtar a lot.
Sweet.
It's good, man. I really liked, give me 2 seconds. The most recent single was fucking wonderful with like the bluish kind of cover, but.
Yeah, Shadow from My Dreams.
Yeah. Thank you. I've been listening to so much shit lately that I'm just like,
yeah, I'm super proud of that one because it's like the first single during this like transitional period where it was like normal Samtar album, normal Samtar album, normal Samtar album, and then I did an acoustic album, and then this is like now I'm transitioning back to the normal stuff, but it's also like no one's heard what I've been working on basically for 6 to 8 months, and like during that time there's been such an evolution, and I'm just like, just wait.
I mean, it was pretty exciting. I liked that one a lot, and Lost Days really stuck with me.
Yeah, that one was also, I didn't know where else I could put that because that was actually an in-between song. It's like, this isn't going to be on the next album, but it's not acoustic, and I'll never release it if I just don't release it now. So
yeah. I mean, at least, you know, I'm glad it came out. I'm glad it happened. You said that like a lot of it was improv. Is that right?
Oh yeah. No, I'm glad about it too. And yeah, the lyrics don't really make any sense because I think I was like, I'm gonna sing literally whatever, and none of it has to make sense, and that's what I did. The guitar solo was all just like one take improv. And then, actually, let me pull up the lyrics because they're funny how much they don't make sense. I'm serious.
Did you put them on like on Spotify too?
Yeah. So like, if you have like, I don't know, sometimes they take a while to load.
Yeah.
It started off making sense. You know what? I don't even want to read them because it's just stupid.
It's fun.
But yeah, it doesn't make sense, and I like
sounds
it.
cool.
It
That's all that fucking
kind of does make sense now that I'm reading. I'm like, it does, but I know I wasn't thinking about like literally anything.
Right. I mean, it's fine. Like I'm okay with stuff as long as it sounds cool. I mean, I grew up on like
Mm-hmm.
Skinny Puppy, where like who fucking knows what half that shit means? It's just like inflammatory words strung together at times, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I do that a lot with like the Samtar music. This one more than usual because I was like, I don't care about poetry. I don't care. But yeah, in general, I do kind of strive for focusing on like the feeling behind things and the tone of the vocals because I don't know. I feel like I strive for whatever the first natural tone that like comes to mind, and like I sing well in the first melody. I like stick with that, and then like bend the words to fit with that in a somewhat sensible way. I try to do music first, logic second, sort of.
Right, right. No, that makes sense. It's interesting to hear your approach to it. Because I've never really. I mean, I realized only recently in a conversation with like somebody else that like I really only noticed music. You know, when I was young, I noticed music at like 7 years old with like Faith No More. Because Mike
Fucking
Patton's
love
voice
Faith No
is
More.
fucking amazing. You know, like I said, one of the things that drew me to checking out Samtar was my exposure with Modesty piece, and I was like, I need to know all sorts of things about who this person is. I mean, it was the same with Tom. You know, when he was in Priest, I was like, I need to know who the guy is in the mask.
Yo, what the fuck? Priest? That's like one of my favorite bands.
Yeah, Tom Alsberg, who's like been on the show a bunch and done like my did my intro for a while.
I didn't fucking know
He was the original Mercury in the Mask, man, for the
I
first record
didn't
and
know
first
that.
EP. Yeah, Ginger Khan.
He's not in the band anymore though. Or?
No, they replaced him. He left. Yeah.
Well, I don't care then. Just kidding.
No, I mean that's fine, but he left.
Totally kidding.
But he did a record with Brides of the Black Room, which is Priest like, I guess.
All right, I'm gonna fucking check them out right now. Just put them on my follow list.
Yeah, they're also on this cool podcast. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Oh yeah,
Void Signal.
The Boyd Signal.
Yeah, the Boyd Signal.
Is it about a guy?
It's not
Hey, welcome to the Boyd Signal. I'm your host, Boyd McWilliams.
I mean, that's an idea that sells itself. But yeah, so he did that, and then he's got another band called Udad. But yeah, he's fucking great. But yeah, when I saw you posting like that, dude, the Priest cover, Lonely Mansion. Was that it?
Yeah, Lonely Mansion. I fucking love that song.
Man, you fucking smoked it. Like,
thanks, dude.
I like called my wife in. I was like, you gotta come in here. And I was like, okay, listen to this. And I played the original, which it's okay. But I was like, come in here. And I played a little bit of the original. And she was like, uh-huh. And I'm like, she's like, it's not as good without Tom. And I'm like, yeah, I know. That was my thought. But then I was like, but listen to this. And then I played yours. And she's like, oh my God. And I was like, I know. It was so good, man. So good.
Oh, man, I'm honored. Thank you. Well, thanks for showing her and tell her thanks.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she's the one who helped me track down and figure out who Tom even was. Like, yeah, that's when Tom left. But
yeah, I like catching like those kinds of bands, not to be like super indie or anything, but like I like that I caught on to them before they did their most recent album because like they're so fucking good. They got to keep just like skyrocketing up. But like, I don't know hold on, let me see their stats real quick. Not that matters that much, but they were at like something like 50,000 monthly listeners like a little while ago, and now they're at like 100,000 something. And I'm like, yep, that's about right.
In my lonely mansion, I'll never be alone. In my lonely mansion, I'm sitting on the throne. A hidden staircase going down. In the basement lies the crown. It's on my ego's deathbed. I'll place it on my head. In my lonely mansion, I'll never be alone. A place built for expansion, still dying on the throne. Back to you I make a call, and weave new mornings on the wall. The echo of your laughter brings me back to life. I'm in control, so I feel so small. Will I grow old, knowing that I've lost you all? I talk to creatures in the halls of the world outside these walls. In my lonely mansion, I'll never be alone. In my lonely mansion, I'll dream upon the throne.
Yeah. The response has been sudden, and on what's funny is that so I've had 2 episodes with Tom. I recorded one with him back when I still had a co-host, and I had to take that one down, but because I didn't want the co-host's name anywhere on what I had made.
Ooh,
but I mean,
spicy.
Even after it has been taken down, it was still my number 1 episode for fucking ever. Like, for fucking ever, because Tom, people were like, oh, Tom from Priest, he has a huge following. He has like a Ginger Con fans fucking Instagram account that like posts pictures of him and people make art of him and shit.
Very interesting.
So like, but I've had him on the show a couple of times. All of his episodes are like my best episodes aside from Health, because a priest, like everybody.
Yeah, I mean, Health is fucking huge, so.
Yeah, Health was pretty fucking huge. Like literally as soon as the Health episode posted, I basically could go and ask whoever I wanted. But yeah, man, Priest, like all their top songs on fucking Spotify are all with Tom. And I mean, those are my favorites.
Wait, so is Tom, did he do the album New Flesh?
He was on New Flesh and the Obey EP, and then he left.
Okay. I mean, I still really like Cyberhead and their Body Machine album that just came out. I fucking really dig. Though I will say New Flesh, I mean, there is something very different. I didn't even really pick up on it that much. I just was like, oh yeah, because like it's all very robotic sounding.
Yeah, exactly.
I know I like the voices, but yeah, I don't know. I dig all of the shit.
Yeah, same. There's something, I'm telling you, man, those fucking Swedes, there's something in the water. Like, they just like every time I kept like asking. It's
probably their education system. They're just, educated well.
Maybe. I mean, they probably take music a lot more seriously. And I don't know. My assumption also was always that just like, oh, well, it's probably also due in part to, Sweden has like a very strong oral tradition for storytelling and stuff. So
they're also pretty godless. So I mean, there's that as well.
Of course, I mean, right,
which is great. Fuck yeah,
fucking, I'm into it. So I mean, that's always my thought. It's like, oh, it's probably like they're good at it because in order to remember long, elaborate folktale stories, putting it in some sort of verse form, sort of lends itself to writing lyrics, I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's how I explain it in my head. But that might not be true.
Dude, some of the art from like Scandinavian countries, also like older art, is so much cooler because like if you look at art from like the 1800s and the 1900s throughout most of the world, it's very much the same. And then you look at like Scandinavia and it's like goblins and witches and shit.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, they also have like the Norse gods scattered throughout some of that stuff and like other folklore stuff that's so much different than the rest of the world that like it's a lot cooler, and it's I like it a lot more.
Yeah, same.
Better than all the Jesus and stained glass and like romantic paintings.
Yeah, I'm not into that. Like I grew up in the South, and it was just like everywhere, and I just like I became an opponent of religion early on, and it's never gone away. I'm just like I can appreciate it as, I mean, after going to school for like a literature, like I can appreciate that. I don't know. That's opening a whole other can of worms. So
I feel you, man. Ever since I was very young too. I didn't grow up in the South or anything, but like I had zero religious indoctrination, but also at the same time my family was all very much so biblical people, and so they would like try to talk to me about that. And I'm just like, I'm like, I don't know, and that's not reality to me, and it never will be. And I see that you put a lot of faith in it, but it means nothing to me. So
yeah, it was never for me. It was never for me. And luckily my mom was, like, oh yeah, you don't have to go to church. You don't have to believe anything you don't want to believe. And I was like, all right, cool. 'Cause I'd rather not, like, and I don't know. I've never wanted for it. I've never had a need for it. I've never felt like, oh, I'm missing it.
Yeah. I do like to like scatter some of that stuff in my music from time to time, and just like have sort of dogmatic and like mystical type things throughout my music. Things from like wizards to God to spirits to ghosts, whatever. And
I do appreciate Wizard of the Mountains quite a bit. Like,
hell yeah. I mean, so that was actually like a follow-up song. I thought it would be cool because like my first album had a song called Witch of the Woods, which is about a person who I was in love with. And then I was like, oh, now follow-up album, I'll do me, and I'm Wizard of the Mountains because I like the mountains and people think I'm a wizard, which I'm not.
I mean, we'll leave that to the council to decide.
Yes. No, nobody knows. I'm not a wizard.
All right. Okay.
No. I swear, I've gotten laid. You know about that whole thing, right?
No.
They say that like if you make it to 30 and you're still a virgin, that's what makes you a wizard.
Wow, I've never heard that.
Yeah.
Wow. Is that how?
Sorry?
Is that how you became a wizard?
No, I just did some like magical spells with like rainwater and didn't work, but I'm a wizard now.
Wow, cool. I mean, it doesn't matter that it didn't work. You tried.
Yeah.
And you never said you were a successful wizard. You just said.
No, yeah, exactly. I do spells all the time. They just
You're
nothing
like, I'm
happens.
not for hire. Okay, this is just for me.
I did all the things that this Google website said I should do to generate wealth, and like I'm still poor. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
I mean, isn't cooking kind of just like alchemy? I mean, you could say that. Like, I mean,
Dude, I want to look into alchemy. I've heard that it's nifty, but I don't. What the fuck is alchemy?
I mean, it's trying to turn lead into gold, but I'm searching for the philosopher's stone.
Yeah, I'm looking up the definition real quick. The medieval forerunner of chemistry, based on the supposed transformation of matter. Oh, okay. It was okay. I'm gonna stop reading there. It's ridiculous.
I
Cool.
mean, it was a little bit. It was pretty fucking ridiculous. But
wizard shit.
Yeah, it was wizard shit. Exactly. I mean, like, it's kind of the same thing now. Like, if you go into a kitchen with fucking the ingredients to like bake some bread, right? Like, you have nothing. You have fucking like powder and shit. Like, it's worthless. It's garbage. You can't eat it. But you can go in there and disappear. I mean, behind a curtain if you like. But you can go in there and come out with bread. And it's edible and it's delicious and wonderful. So, I mean, it's kind of like magic. It's kind of like wizardry.
Yeah, except it's, I think the alchemy thing, they're talking about like actually using magic, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, I assume there was some sort of, I mean, it was, it's just a
Because
weird.
it says similar. It says similar, like synonyms are chemistry, but okay, chemistry is obviously not real. But other ones are magic, sorcery, witchcraft, and enchantment.
Yeah, there was some fucking hocus pocus to it, which is not so different from a lot of
But
things that are popular now, but
yeah, no, I do. I understand what you're saying though, because like making bread actually is a pretty magical process, and as is a lot of cooking.
hmm for sure. Man, that's something I would love to talk about, but I can't. Like, I know a lot of people who I like them, and so I don't say the things I really think about some of the things that they do or believe.
Oh yeah. Hmm. I try to just attack. Like one of my best friends who I work with, we get into debates about shit. We're both kind of like devil's advocate type people,
Ooh, fun.
and he says all sorts of stupid shit, and I jump down his throat all the time, and like we're just constantly debating each other, and it's whatever. That's just how it is.
Um, I mean, I try not to, just because, like, I don't want to. I have to worry now. Like, once upon a time, I could get as loud as I wanted to about whatever I wanted. But now I have to be like, well, so and so's into that, so I better not say
I
that.
used to be when I was not first, but when in the middle of my almost actually I've only been doing the Samtar project for like 2 years.
Mhm.
In the middle of this 2 year project, I kind of had a thing where I'm like, I'm not going to talk about my beliefs because like I'm a pretty like left wing person. I believe in universal healthcare. I'm a person who wants more protection for the environment.
Mhm.
I believe we could do things to help wealth inequality, and I'm pretty vocal about it. But for a long time, I was like, I'm not gonna mention that in any of my like posts on Instagram. But then I was like, I don't fucking care anymore because
Right.
like I have songs like "The World Isn't Yours," which is a picture of someone walking through the forest, and it's like if you can't fucking pick, it's like the whole thing with like Rage Against the Machine. If you can't pick up on those things, and I have to like and I'm like breaking the news to you that I am like a hippie basically. Like if you can't pick up on that stuff, you're just a dumb shit. Like so
Right.
I don't know. I just want to be able to be myself, and I don't want to have to be like I have a muzzle protecting potential conservatives in my audience.
As soon as I wake up, I want to go back to sleep. I want to disappear and never have to dream again. A fog clouds the vision that I once admired. The reason has left, and now all that I desire is the nothingness that has been enveloping me. The shallow consciousness that doesn't ever get to speak unless it's spoken to. Assure yourself that you're not worth it, but I'll tragically remind you that no one is. A repeat of last night now developing. You wanna break the cycle, well just listen. Easily done, harder to run away. When you can't breathe, I don't want to know the way to go. If it leads me back here, like a shapeshifter washing away all the pages from before. Would you reconcile your fate, or would you rather just ignore the words and the lives of those you've passed by? You try to keep moving, but they'll haunt you inside. Now you're coming undone, all you can do is run, but you can't breathe. Something in your eyes says you're telling me the truth.
but I still can't believe
the way you leave. They're all behind. I've still got a little bit of faith in you, even though you've given me enough fuel to burn us both to the ground. But I suppose sometimes that's the best option given the circumstances. No, please don't come undone. We haven't even begun just yet. You can just sit and breathe. Something in your eyes says you can't tell me the truth, but I still want to see, how did we get to this place and still not know any damn thing? Are we just too naive? Perhaps come next lifetime we'll both pay a little more attention to all the subtleties.
No, I mean, that's fair. I don't want to protect conservatives. I remain, you and I are very, on the political spectrum, we're very similarly aligned. As far as, I mean, I've got some pretty Marxist beliefs.
Oh, cool. Same here. Well, I just wanted to say one more thing. The other thing is also you're doing stuff with like music and musicians. Like most musicians and like artists, I think are usually more left leaning,
Right.
and progressive in general.
Right.
So
I think so, and especially in this sort of scene, at least I would hope. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't worry about offending conservatives. I just like, I know people who believe some pseudoscience-y kind of things.
like astrology type shit.
Yeah. And
You know what? Actually, I do tiptoe around that. I'm not even joking. After that whole long tirade I just said, I still tiptoe around that. I'm like, because that's one of the ones I'm like, I don't know. Like, I think it's kind of silly, but I guess it makes you happy.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's fun, but I mean, like, I also like no bullshit if they want to, but
I feel like as far as like when it goes like that type of shit, I don't really care about as much. It's really for me, it's more so like I don't care about political beliefs. But if someone's like, I believe in God, or like, you know, I worship this Egyptian god, I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like, I don't fucking care. As long as you're not like, that God isn't excusing your racism or like something else like that.
Oh, you're not okay with that?
Yeah, I mean, usually.
Usually.
No, you can cut this part real quick here too. But also, it's funny because, oh wow, what would you know? It was actually a woman who I knew, and she was actually the Witch of the Woods, literally based on her, because she was like into all that shit, and she is a child psychologist and like super intelligent, well read, but she is also involved in this like basically cult that believes something to do with God is in a dream. I don't fucking know. It's kind of cool. When I read about it, I was like, oh well, that's less Jesus-y at least. But when I typed in the name of her religion or whatever, the first thing that came up was cult. When I was like, okay, so
I mean, that's a red flag. That's a big one.
Pretty big red flag. And she's into like Reiki and all that shit too, and I'm just like
Yep. I have to do the same thing. I have to just be like, oh yeah, Reiki. I'm like, you know, this chick will start talking to me about like energy, and I'm like, oh. I'm like, I'm okay with energy to a point. Like,
I feel like energy and vibes is like person whose vocabulary is lacking. Sure. And so they always need to fucking say things like, I like the vibe of this. It's like, that is, it's like that whole dumbing down of language thing, like the 1984 type shit. Like I've recently been trying really hard to not say things like, I like the vibe, I like the energy.
Can't help it.
You can totally keep this in the interview, because I want people to know this and hear this. They need to understand that saying vibe makes you a little bit more stupid.
Oh,
and
wow. Okay.
No, not that part. Not that part.
This is
Cut
staying,
that, cut that.
This is staying in for sure because I have honestly taken to using that nomenclature because at points I'm like I really like, and I don't want to say room, I don't want to say scene, I don't want to say like I want to describe the whole experience, and so I'll say vibe. So that's fine. I'll be stupider.
Oh no, dude, I use the term a lot all the time too, but just recently I'm like, I'm gonna try to not do it, and then I find myself like grasping for different terms, and I'm like, so if I like the vibe of something, I'm like, okay, what parts of the quote unquote vibe did I like? And then I find myself being more descriptive, and I think it's just better for ourselves as
Sure.
communicative beings to try to elaborate our thoughts.
That sounds hard. So
Yeah, it is, dude. But I think the better we can articulate our thoughts and feelings, the better we can address issues and discrepancies and whatever.
Who wants to do that? What do you think?
People with too much time on their hands.
Yeah, exactly. Progressives.
Fucking piece of
Fucking
shit.
progressives. Shit. No, I agree with you. It forces you to sort of, expand your mind a little bit. So that's fair. Maybe I'll try and step away from using vibe. Dude,
It's a new thing.
The word I hate, and like, I've been so close to calling out a lot of people very publicly about it, and I'm going to leave this in just because I'm finally going to say this.
The word what?
I don't.
Oh, the word you hate.
Yes, I don't like it when people call other people normies. Like, other people can dress however they want and live their lives however they want to. Like, it makes you look shitty, not them. Like, it makes you look like you're in the middle of judging somebody else just because they're not choosing to be like how you are. But
also, you don't know who they actually are behind closed doors. They might be like super into like some crazy BDSM or like They might dress up as a pony and like fucking wear diapers. Who fucking knows?
Right. Or they might just be cool and just have to fucking look normal for their job or their whatever. Like, it's so shitty. It's so shitty. Like, whenever I hear anybody be like, oh, those normies, it's like, you just made yourself look stupid. You just made yourself look shitty.
This is a thought I've actually wrestled with a lot myself, because I think about this with like people who have tattoos. Like, I kind of want a tattoo, but I have also kind of always thought people who have to wear a bunch of stuff to put on this like character is like, maybe they have less of a personality because they have to like, their personality has to be all visual, because if you actually sit down and talk with them, they don't really have too much going on or too many original thoughts. They're like, their whole personality is just based on like characters they've seen in movies and like inspirational quotes. And this isn't something that I'm like, this is a hard and fast belief I have. It's just kind of a thought I've, had lingering around in my noggin for a decade or so.
I mean, you're not wrong. Like, when I was young, I used to hang out in tattoo shops all the time just because I didn't have fuck all else to do. I mean, that was a lot of the people that came in there, was just like, sleeves of garbage, and oh, I got that because I like that band, or like,
this is whatever. My tribal tattoo.
Yeah. Oh, this means soul, or whatever, or this means warrior poet, or whatever. These. Like,
it's better to be a garden and a warrior than a warrior garden, man. Wait, hold on. I don't think that's the saying.
Or whatever garbage people would just come in and get. And that's fine. I mean, for some people, but I agree.
Yeah, no, I really don't want to bash tattoos because I might get one someday. I'm like, maybe that's a thing. I don't know. I'm not saying like, because a lot of people I meet who have tattoos, they're cool. I'm not. It's just a judgment, an overly harsh judgment I sometimes have.
Yeah, no, I mean,
and not necessarily specifically about tattoos. Yeah, sorry, what?
No. I get you. What you're saying is true and applicable with a lot of things. I think tattoos are just sort of, just another tool that people use to sort of, build a personality for themselves. But I mean, that's in addition to things like, being really into Star Wars, or being really into Marvel, or being really into,
Yeah.
any other form of mass media, or whatever anybody is into these days. You can overdose.
Yeah,
on
see,
it.
I'm a cynical douchebag.
Yeah, me too.
It's like that South Park episode where Stan they think he has Asperger's, and it's like, you're actually just a cynical asshole.
I mean, that's probably my take on it too. I was just sort of hope for the best, but I do expect the worst out of everyone and everything. So
Yeah, it's a curse.
great. Well, I do, back to sort of to Samtar though, just to sort of, try and rein this back in just a little bit. Your voice is so striking, and like you have like so many singles on here, but it's all like pretty recent. Like, were you in other bands before, or what? Like, I don't really know your history, I guess.
Yeah, so I have been like making music my whole life. I've been in a lot of bands locally that didn't go anywhere. I think I was usually the most motivated in the band, in a way that like I have always known I wanted to do this for like a living. And for most people it's a hobby, which is super cool. I'm totally fine with that, but I was always trying to drive things in a direction of like, let's fucking play a bunch of shows, let's like record an album, let's do all this stuff. And it's like they always got stuck in like the rehearsal process, and it's like, Jesus Christ, can I just write the songs for us and you'll just play them, because like I can write music in my sleep.
Right.
And like a lot of artists nowadays, like it all kind of got slingshotted at the beginning of the lockdowns with COVID, because I was pretty hesitant to ever try to just leave my job and pursue music full time, because I was like, well, what if like I don't produce that much and I just waste my time and I just play video games and like do fucking nothing? Then like I'll know I'm a failure, and I'll know that like I'll never amount to anything, and I'm just gonna have to get some stupid job and like whatever. And so then come the lockdowns, like I couldn't go to work, and all I did was music, and I recorded my first album, Plotting Against Reality, in the span of like a few months. And I just nonstop was doing music, to the point where like I had a little bit of hearing damage, unfortunately, because I just didn't think about that. And then I just kept doing that. I actually like moved back in with my parents. So I like, once the lockdowns were lifted and like basically the financial benefits we were getting from the government were not as helpful, I just was like, well, I don't want to worry about money, so I'm just going to live with my parents for a little while so I can keep doing this. And yeah, man, I just kept doing single after single and just trying to get out as much music as I could. Not to say like I was rushing it or anything, but it's just like kind of funny. Like it's back to that. Like sometimes I wonder if actually the reason why I think people who have like tattoos and all that shit, or like people who overly project visually, I think they have no personality, is actually just like a projection of myself thinking like, oh, I'm the one who has no personality, and like all I have is music. And I don't know, it's like music's all I really want to do. I like to be in nature a lot and shit, but like it's just all I think about 24/7, and I'm just like completely obsessed. And like I never used the word obsessed until one of my friends, like we were hanging out and she was like, I think you're just obsessed, you have an obsession. And I'm like, oh, is that a bad thing? She's like, I think probably most people who are gonna be successful in your field probably have to be obsessed. And I was like, okay, well, I'll stay obsessed then.
I don't wish this on anyone.
Break the spell of staring at the sun.
The midnight
riddle about the future and our lost history. I don't wanna tell you what to believe, but faith is where you believe. And everything you thought you knew, you don't. There'll be more to come.
Came and went just like yesterday.
Manifest destiny, or you'll be swept away.
The reason that you're worried is 'cause it takes too long
To see the sun after an evening oh so wrong. I don't wanna tell you what to believe, but faith is where you believe. Everything you thought you knew, you don't. There'll be more to come.
Waves on the shore, they call me in a soothing voice.
Remind me that every one of my worries is just noise.
I keep having the same nightmare, or is it a dream?
Everyone around me is just passing with the breeze. I don't wanna tell you what to believe, but faith is where you believe. And everything you thought you knew, you don't. There'll be more to come. Yeah, I mean, it's true of me too. Honestly, it's just that it manifested in kind of a different way. I mean, like I've been obsessed with music for most of my life, honestly, but I just
Mhm.
sort of, I don't know. I never pursued trying to make my own. Like I didn't have the, I didn't, I guess I didn't have the means. And so, the means that I had were, lended themselves more to, sort of the, I don't know, writing about music or talking about music or sharing music. I mean, not so dissimilar from kind of what I do now, really, but I have always been quite obsessed with music as well. Like but I just never manifested that passion into learning to make it. And it sounds like you really have, and that you've really sort of, dedicated yourself to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's from a really young age. I didn't start as young as a lot of people, but like when I was like 15, I got into it a little bit, and I started singing for bands in high school, and like people always took like a liking to my voice, but it's funny that they did even when I was younger, because like those earlier recordings of me, I'm like, Jesus Christ, I was so fucking bad, and like I don't know, it's compared to how I am now, and like
Mm.
even how I was in like my early 20s, like. Well, actually, early 20s, I was starting to get pretty good, but
Mhm.
I drank a lot, so I would just yell a lot, and
Right.
it was more emotion fueled than like trying to be a better musician and stuff.
Right.
Now it's like I try to mix that bursting with emotions with like musicality.
Yeah, that's fair. I drank a lot in my 20s too, and my 30s.
Um, but I mean, I'm still technically, I mean, I'm 39, but I discovered weed, and it's wonderful.
Oh, so much better. I can't smoke weed. I can't even do edibles just because like it fucks with my throat and my voice for some weird reason. But like
Really?
I'm a big weed advocate, definitely, because like I always smoked weed through
Mhm.
most of my life and never had any issues with memory or anything. And then when I like got into drinking, I was like, I can't remember shit. I don't remember what happened yesterday.
Yeah, right.
And it's like, wow, which one is worse? Like
Yeah.
get in fights with my friends, ruin relationships because I tell people how I really feel about them, even though it was like kind of a passing feeling. It's just like being hurtful just because I'm feeling emotional. Like it's just like, fuck, man.
Yeah. No, that's why that's what ultimately led me to stop drinking, was that it was like, I would get blackout drunk and I'd say shit I didn't mean. And I'd be like,
Yep.
I'd be like, okay, so when, I'm consuming this thing, that when I have enough of it, someone I don't know is going to take over my body and say things to the people I care about. Like, I can't
Mm-hmm.
trust that. I don't know that guy.
Yeah, dude.
It was too much. That was enough for me.
I mean, I did some like writing through all that like drunken nonsense, and it's like some of the lyrics and like some of the stuff I said and some of the stuff I've written, I'm like, what the fuck was going on in my head? Like, I just like am genuinely like concerned for that version of me. I'm so glad that I made it through because like, goddamn, some of the shit is just ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad you made it through too. I'm glad I did as well, and anybody else who's ever fucking found themselves in that situation, because yeah, man, like it turns you into somebody else. Like it really does. I mean, at least for me, like if you overindulge on it, I think. I mean,
Yeah, no, I mean, I still have a drink. I still like to drink occasionally, but like I never like what I always say is like I just don't get drunk anymore because
Yeah.
like I don't like getting. I mean, maybe I would in the right circumstance, but like I just don't like the feeling anymore. I don't like waking up hungover. I don't like fucking. As soon as you start to come down, I just start to feel like, oh man, I feel like shit. Imagine how I'm gonna feel tomorrow. Like I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's like I would love to have a drink and have like, like a cocktail. Like that sounds great. I used to love gin and tonic. Um and but yeah, it's like what if I get a migraine? Like I don't want that. Like I don't
Hmm.
want but yeah, that, and it's expensive. It's very expensive.
Yeah, I mean, weed's expensive too, though.
I mean, unless you live in motherfucking Seattle, dude. Like
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. When I was out in Oregon, I bought like an ounce for like fucking like $100. I was like, what the fuck?
oh my god, fucking
I hardly even like smoke weed, and so I was like, okay, this is obviously gonna last me a lifetime, but whatever.
man, Seattle was insane. It was like, infused pre rolls like $6, per one, like on sale, and I'm like $6, six actual human U.S. dollars that I have in my pocket here. Like, is that for real? Like, and like non-infused were like $3 or $4. It's like, what the? It grew on the motherfucking trees, like pre rolls and everything you can imagine, dude. They had these indica and sativa pills that were like,
Hmm.
it was like concentrate just inside of a gel cap, and you just pop that shit, and like 10 minutes later, like bam, you've got like the full effect of like. So I mean, like I pop like a sativa because I'm like, I need to like focus and be on or whatever.
Uh,
And it would just like fade away after a couple of hours. It was pretty awesome, and I was like, man, they are doing amazing things with lots of cheap weed here in Seattle.
I'm fucking jealous. I like the West Coast.
Same.
I also like their decriminalization of other substances. It's pretty cool too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would love to take mushrooms, but I'm allergic. So,
Oh no, I love mushrooms. I'm all about mushrooms.
yeah, I would love to. I would love to. I would love to. I've taken acid like twice, and I loved it. It was wonderful, and I would love to do it again, but the one time I took mushrooms was sort of what helped me was sort of the final puzzle piece, because I'd been like making like fucking dishes with like mushroom soup bass, for like a song.
What was your reaction?
Well, I was on the toilet the rest of the night, but I was hallucinating the wallpaper, like being faces and shit. But I was just
Great.
like dying. I was like fucking like having trouble breathing and like,
Oh God.
just diarrhea and almost vomiting and shaking. I mean, it was fucking horrible. So sort of not great. But then,
And you do get reactions from like other mushrooms as well.
yeah.
No, okay.
It
Shitty.
sucks. It's super shitty. But I did write a short story a few years ago, called "The Horror in the Undergrowth," and it was about a nightmare I had where mushroom people take me underground, and they're holding me down, and they're trying to put their fingers in my mouth, so that I'll have an allergic reaction, and I'll die. And I'll give, my body will be used to give birth to some kind of like mega mushroom. So I wrote.
This is great. I love it.
About it. Yeah, thanks, man.
I mean, even actually, just the name is fucking super cool too.
Thanks, dude. It's coming to Broadway soon. Horror in the Undergrowth, about the mushroom people.
Just send that my way. I'll just turn it into a song, and then the song will be about nothing because I won't be able to make lyrics.
That's okay. I would love to see what you made of, like, the mushroom mouth massacre or whatever you.
Dude, it's so great when people give me like, when I get like commissions to do vocals occasionally, and they're like, I want the song to be about this. I'm like, okay, and then I just kind of. Like, here you go, here's your product. And like, I'm pretty vague with a lot of the stuff that they're like, oh, I don't know. Like they're, I don't, hold on. Let me see my most recent one I did. Do the lyrics make sense?
Do you feel like your lyrics make sense for Modesty Beast?
Well, actually Johan writes a lot of lyrics.
Gotcha.
Not all of them. I don't fucking remember which songs I've written the lyrics for with Modesty Beast. I don't know. I think I just like to self-deprecate. My lyrics make sense. Never mind.
Okay. Honestly, I'm curious. Like, I feel like maybe, like, how often do you ever talk to Johan?
We used to talk more. Recently, we haven't been because I just had like some family in town. There's just been a little bit of a lull in the project.
Sure.
I think just because he just had a vacation, then I had a vacation.
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, we got that new song we're working on a little bit, and
I just wasn't sure how frequently or anything you guys spoke or anything.
Yeah, it used to be super frequently. I did have to like kind of not like. I just had to be like, hey man, I need to keep working on like Samtar stuff because like he is able to produce instrumental stuff pretty quickly, and like it's hard for me to stay focused sometimes. Like because I try to just work on one song at a time.
Yeah.
So like here's what like happens a lot of time is I am working on my own music. I am stuck working on a song for 2 weeks, and then I'm finally done, and he's been waiting for me, and then I immediately come up with another riff, and I'm like, I'm starting another song, and I'm like, fuck, I forgot about Johan.
Right.
And then I'm like, okay, I'll do his song real quick and like put this on the back burner. But sometimes I don't, because I'm like my thing's more important, so I put him on the back burner, which like
sure.
I think he's okay with, I hope, but I don't do it like because he means less, but no, my project it does take precedent to me.
There's no coming back. Pain that I have lost. Whisper in my head. Shake
waves drive me through the water. There's a villain in my head. Precious things I need to slaughter. Settle for a rainy day. There's a villain in my head, and I think he wants you dead. Precious things I need to slaughter. But why need them For sure, absolutely. I mean, that makes perfect sense.
No.
Because it's got your name on it and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. I just was curious as to what the background of that looked like versus, and how you balance that versus just working on your own stuff.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times also, like, I always try to sing once a day. I mean, it's just a part of like evolving and just learning and getting better and blah blah blah. So sometimes when I don't have something to sing with my own music, I'm like, now is the time to jump on Modesty Beast because he's always got something for me. The voice is weird, man, because you really do got to sing every single fucking day.
Really?
Yeah. And because I was talking to another friend about this, I kind of was able to finally understand it myself, because sometimes when you're explaining something to someone else, you're like, oh, now it makes more sense to me too.
No, I mean that's true, psychologically proven that
Yeah.
whenever you explain something that you're passionate about or that you know a lot about, you're making yourself better at it as well.
Totally. But like with guitar, for example, if I don't play for 2 weeks, I can sit down and play for 2 hours and then I'm back to where I was. But with the voice, it's like if I take off for 2 days, I can start singing for an hour or two and then I'm back to where I was. But by that time, my voice is tired. You're not supposed to sing more than a certain amount. It's just not good for your voice. So it's like if I hit a certain wall, then I'm like, okay, now I'm back to where I should be. I have to stop now though. So it's like there's no evolution. It's more so it's just like I'm back to where I was 2 days ago, as opposed to like always progressing and like your newfound skills becoming more of just like ability. I don't know what the right word for it. Yeah, I don't know. More easy.
Ability. That makes sense. I get you.
Job.
Cool.
Yeah.
What? I mean, I don't mean to sound dismissive. It's just that like I'm just meditating and sort of digesting your thoughts on it. It's something I've never really thought about before. I mean, I could sort of draw the comparison to, I feel like writing is a skill that you have to sort of stay on top of a little bit because it begins to decay if you're not doing it.
Yeah, and I do think it's important to take breaks. It's just like that idea of like if you want to keep progressing, like if I took off for like a week with the voice, if I came back, I wouldn't come back to progressing. It would be like I got to find my footing for a few days and then I can go back to progressing. So it's not like super detrimental. It's just like I do want to get even better. I always want to get better.
Right. No, for sure. I mean,
but you do have to breathe and be a normal person.
Right. What have you been enjoying lately? Like, what's been just your bread and butter? What's been your jam?
I went swimming recently that I loved. Shit.
Have you not gone in a while?
No, it's been so long. I went to this lake,
Mm-hmm.
and it was with my family, and like I ran around the lake because I love running. And then when I was like, this is gonna be perfect. I'm gonna go for a long run up this fucking cliff, and then I'm gonna come back and be dying, and then I'm gonna get in the water, and it's gonna feel amazing. And it
Right.
did. All that was just, it was so great. And now I'm like, that's what I want to do. Always, I want to go run around a lake and then swim in the lake. But most of the lakes around here are pretty gross, so it's like I have to find a nice lake. No, but besides that, fuck, what have I been doing?
You ever been to Reno?
Reno?
Yeah.
I have. When I was pretty young, though, I don't really remember much of it.
I mean, that's okay. There's not much. Yeah, man. If you ever come to Reno or you want to come to Reno, like, I'll take you up to Tahoe and shit. Like, Tahoe is a huge, beautiful lake. Super deep, super cold, surrounded by forest. It's wonderful. So yeah, like that would be cool. That would be awesome. I went swimming for the first time in a long time recently too, but not in a lake. I just went in like the pool that's at my apartment complex, but it was still like my first time.
Dude, it
in
feels so
a
good. It
long
doesn't,
time.
yeah, just like being immersed in water, you're like, floaty.
It's like my natural state. Like,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I'm like, oh yeah, man, like we were like lived in this shit for like 9 months.
yeah, it's like it's good to be floaty again. Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, I've been trying to I've been trying to get into video games again lately because like I've been doing Twitch streaming, so like that's actually been a thing I've been really enjoying. So if anyone wants to come listen to my voice and me talk shit and me play video games, go to Twitch and check out Samtar. But that's really fun. I never thought I would like it so much. But it's really fun hanging out and having people just talk. And it's just like, it feels like you're hanging out with people because I'm just playing a video game and I'm just talking with people.
I might have to give that a try. I've been thinking about it a lot because I keep weird hours, and I'll be like, up at like 1 a.m. and I'll have some time, to myself that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna fucking force myself to stop working because there's always something more to do.
Yep, I know that
But
feeling.
I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna, I'll put my feet up and play a video game or whatever, and I'm always like, maybe I should stream, maybe I should, see who's out.
You have a good voice for it because like I think that's what a lot of it can come down to. And also you're good at just, what is it, the gift of gab. You're good at talking, and like
Right.
I think that those are the two biggest components. Like you got a voice that people want to hear and you talk about stuff. That's all you need.
Well, I do have both of those, so
I have such fucking ADD that like I just like I'll go off on these like long tangents that make no sense, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's probably a good thing for Twitch. So I'm gonna just keep
is
doing
it?
that.
Oh, fucking awesome! I'm down.
Exactly.
Because I smoke shit tons of weed, and then I just run my mouth about fucking whatever. Who knows?
What am I talking about?
I mean, that frequently happens. Like, I feel so bad because like I'll be awake all fucking night, and then Rose will get up to go to work in the morning, and I've been smoking in my office all night, and I'm just like, I feel so bad. I just like assault her with like all these stupid ideas that I've just been like bottling up of like, hey, let me tell you, listen, in Blade Runner 2049, okay, the whole narrative about love is, and I will just assault her with all this fucking shit that I've had no one to
That's
to
brilliant. That would work perfect with Twitch.
assault with. So yeah, that sounds awesome.
You can even like I also found you can go on YouTube and watch literally anything as long as it's not like music.
Right.
And as long as you're adding value, as in like adding commentary, you can just watch fucking anything. And so I watched like this thing about like, because I was just waiting for like the Twitch stream to populate, because I just messaged some of my friends like, hey, I'm streaming, get on here. And while I waited for them, I just watched this like 20-minute video of like a trip report on mushrooms. And I was just like, yeah, so that can happen with mushrooms. And like just was like talking in the middle of the video, and it's like, it's fun.
Yeah, I'm into it. I'm into it. I've had trouble. Like, I used to play video games like obsessively, like all the fucking time. But like, I really, ever since Void Signal has kind of taken off a little bit, like, and started to get a little bit more notoriety, I've just been so busy, and there's always something more to do. So that it's like whenever I do put my feet up and try and play something, I feel horribly guilty. Right?
Dude, honestly, I think Void Signal would be great on Twitch too. I don't know, like you should just do interviews on there with cameras and shit.
Maybe I'll give it a try.
Because that's the other thing is you like right now what we're doing, we could like I thought about like asking you before we came on, like, hey, can I just like have my camera on and we're just gonna do this live streamed on Twitch at the same time?
For sure. You can do
Um,
that anytime, man. Like, absolutely.
well, maybe we'll have to have an interview part two, but we already talked about everything. So
Yeah. We did. And we're at time. Like, we're at an hour. I'll have to cut a little bit of
Nice.
stuff, but I mean, once I put music back in, it'll come out to be about at an hour. So,
Sweet.
so I will go ahead and stop recording here, and I'll fade all of this out. But just to sort of wrap up this part of the conversation before I stop recording, just thanks so much for your time, man. Like, it's a pleasure as always. And I found you because of Johan, and Samtar is really fucking good, and you're like on the level. So anything I can ever do to help you, like, my skills and my time is available for you. So thank you so much for your time and for your friendship.
Yeah, man. I mean, the thanks is all to you because I'm not like a type of person who really likes to network. So having it be like just a casual thing where it's like, I like you, let's just hang out and talk, it makes it a lot easier because like
Yeah.
I don't really want to talk about myself. I don't want to like promote myself to people. So like people like yourself make my life a lot better. And yeah, thanks for taking the time with me to talk about my work. And
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't
thanks for
like
taking an interest in what I do.
Oh, absolutely. I don't like talking about myself either. Like, I'm shitty at self-promotion. Like, partially it's I don't want to spend the money on advertising. And B, I'm overly humble about everything I do. It's like a terrible fault.
Dude, mine's the opposite. I think I'm the shit. And so as soon as I start talking about myself, I'm like, I'm really fucking awesome. And I'm like, I need to fucking stop. And so then I'm just like, I don't want to talk. And I'm like, I'm really cool.
I mean, there's a part of me that feels that, right? Like, I always want to be like, man, nobody knows how fucking cool I am. I know this. I know so many cool fucking people who are doing cool fucking shit. But I mean, like, I never want to just be like, it's like flopping your fucking dick out. Like, oh, hey, bam, how cool is this? Like, I don't want to do that. So I'm always like super humble, and that's a
Were
better
you body shaming?
I'm not. No, not body shaming at all. Not. It's an affliction, Sam. It's not.
I need to figure out, we both need to figure out the way to talk about yourself in a way that isn't like bragging and but you're still being interested. So this is something I would like to learn, that like how to be interesting about myself without it being like, look at all my achievements.
Right. Yeah. Without sounding too like, check out my fucking cool dick kind of a way.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Like, hey, I like make all this music myself and taught myself basically everything. And like, I don't see anyone else doing it this well. Just kidding. There are fucking crazy good solo artists out there. Like, what's his name? This guy's like, oh yeah. Oh wait, yeah, damn it. 1 second, I gotta tell you this artist.
That's okay. I'm still recording. I'm gonna stop in a second.
I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Isan, but it's IHSAHN.
Oh.
And
yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
It's like progressive metal, and it's just fucking very nifty shit.
Super good.
Yeah, he's just a solo artist, just fucking killing it.
Awesome. I'll have to check it out. I do quite like solo artists. Samtar is pretty good. I don't know if you've heard that.
It's aight.
It's pretty okay. I mean, the guy does everything himself, and his voice.
It reminds me of Nickelback if they were a little bit like not as good.
Right, not nearly as good as Nickelback. I mean, that's a pretty high bar.
I think the vocalist could probably take a few lessons from Chad Kroeger.
I was thinking the same thing, but I didn't.
Look at this.
Look at this crap.